I frequently say that this business acquisition process is simple, but simple is not the same as easy. And I wanted to give you an example of that, but also an example of how badly do you want this. So I got an email from a mentee yesterday morning, and it started off, "Good morning, Bruce. I have a story for you, perhaps unbelievable, but let's start with the good news first. Seller finance deal, 100%, 1.2 in top line revenue, adjusted EBITDA 270. Contract has been signed and we will close on the 27th. Well, that's good news. 27th isn't here yet, so funny things happen, as this will tell you, but it sounds like that will close, and that's good news. So here's the story. Imagine dying and coming back in the middle of a deal. Well, that's what happened to me. 6 weeks ago, I had a procedure and went into cardiac arrest. Yes, I was gone for 5 minutes. There were several things going on in my life, both business and personal. I had to do a reset on my business because the market shifted and we were burning through too much money. It sucked, it really did. I had to let 2 people go, reorganize and restructure. Also, one of my key team members had checked out on me and I had to let him go. Big mistake and lesson learned. Never hire a friend. All that being said, my reorg has worked and we're generating profit again. Yay! Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm also going through a divorce. Yes, this sucks, but sometimes marriages do not work out in this journey. I know I am rambling, but let's get back to where I was dying. During all the craziness of life and business, I discovered I needed to undergo a medical procedure on my heart to correct a congenital disorder. It was discovered back in June. Surprised, the deal I am closing came back to me in June. So while in the middle of negotiating this deal, I was reorganizing my business, dealing with an impending divorce, and now managing a healthcare crisis. What is so amazing, as we got closer and closer to my procedure, we got closer and closer to financing the deal terms. Well, on the day of the procedure, we were finalizing the contract and preparing the docs for the seller's legal team to review. That is when I died. I crashed for 5 minutes, and next thing you know, I am up in critical care with tubes and the whole 9 yards. I will say this, with my reorg came a new team, and everyone on that team stepped up. My nurse running our agency, my CFO, and my chair. They all stepped up and kept things moving. What's really funny is as soon as they had me up walking in the hospital, I got on the phone and started working the calls with the seller and checking on my team. The nurses all looked at me literally as a walking miracle. Well, as I'm going through my recovery, I focused all of my efforts on moving the needle and closing the deal. Once we got the contract signed, I was planning my board meeting, and then the big news hit. The weekend before my board call last Friday, my brother called me during the day to let me know that my father had passed away. Full of emotions and distraught, the board and I met as planned on Monday, and we approved the deal to move forward. There were a few outstanding issues we had to resolve with the legal team, and 30 minutes before my father's service, I had to make a follow-up call to the attorney so that we could get the remaining closing docs executed. I had this call while driving my sister to the cemetery for the services, and I will never forget what she said. "Well, it looks like business has to continue." I had only one reply: "Yes, it does." I share this story with you, Bruce, simply because there is no excuse in this world, and the only thing that can hold you back is death. For those who want to do M&A, it is very hard. It's the hardest thing you will do. There are sleepless nights, painful days, and yes, you just have to push through. You literally and figuratively put your life on the line. So if you do this, it better be worth it. Say all the affirmations you want to say, but unless you're willing to live it, then do not do this. You can have a very easy life. But if you want to build your fortune, then hang in there. As my chair tells me, just hang in there, and it may not get easier, but it will get more and more rewarding. So that's a pretty extreme example, but every mentee that I have and the journey that I have been on, all of those had setbacks. All of those had tough times. The thing that separates those that succeed from those who don't is that those succeed kept pushing. They kept working it. Yesterday was kind of an interesting day. I ended up getting this email. I got notification that one of my mentors, really close relationship when I worked in corporate, was in hospice, and then also a colleague had died unexpectedly. So things happen, and this story is not unlike probably 30 years ago now when I was with my father in hospice. He died. I had stayed overnight with him. He died in the morning, and first call I made was to my mentor in this business acquisition process to keep going on business. And a lot of people think that may be odd or cold, but I think it's important to remember, whether it's family members, mentees, parents, whatever that is, would they want you to have quit or because of their death, or would they have wanted you to keep pushing forward? And I think we all hopefully know the answer to that. So yes, the process is simple, not the same as easy, but in the end, it's worth it for most people that persist, and regrets are a bitch when you quit. So I hope this helps. I hope that passing it along maybe gives you some added inspiration and motivation to keep pushing and moving forward if you've had some tough times. And if you're looking for how to start this whole conversation process, on my website you'll see those tools on the process. If you want the free conversation starters, go to brucewhipple.com/free course. But I hope that was helpful. And as I told this mentee many times, keep pushing.